Welcome in to Bon Appetit. And we have one of our favorite people. We've had him before. We have Randy Gresham, and Randy is now at A&P Social in Old Cloverdale. And we love talking about what you do because, the chefs have finally gotten to where everything is local.
Indeed.
And I just love that we're doing that in Montgomery. And tell us about your whole theory about what you love to do there.
Well, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a neighborhood restaurant, right? So we want to support the neighborhood, we want to support local. So we're using local products. We're using the bounty of the river region. We're using the Gulf seafood that's coming up out of Alabama. And it's showcasing that. It's as much showcasing the hard-working people, rather, that are putting in the time and the effort to supply us with these things as it is about showcasing our talents in the kitchen. Because without the products that they're supplying, we can't do what we can possibly do in the kitchen.
Got to start with something good.
Exactly.
But the thing I love too is you're keeping it local, you're keeping it locally owned, you're keeping your taxes and your money in Alabama.
Keep it here.
Before you get into cooking, let's let our viewers know where you're located, when you're open, this way, because I know they're sitting there going, wait, don't give me all this and not tell me all that.
So we are at 503 Cloverdale Road. I'm sure everybody's familiar with.
There used to actually be an A&P grocery store.
A&P grocery store there, right on Cloverdale Road, correct. Hence
Right.
the name. And we're located just down the street from Dirk's. Filet and Vine.
Okay.
We're open Tuesday through Saturday. We open up at about 4:30 for happy hour, and we start serving food at about 5. And then on Sunday brunch, we open up and do a tremendous brunch with some outdoor patio seating and with the huge windows. You can really truly enjoy yourself on Sundays.
It's nice. So what are we doing today?
We're going to do a dish on the menu that we call an Alabama Bouillabaisse. So Bouillabaisse is a traditional French Mediterranean stew. We're working with a whole fish program at A&P, and in doing so, we're getting the whole fish in. We can guarantee the quality of it. We can track it better. We butcher it all out in-house, and inevitably, we want to make sure that we're utilizing everything. If somebody's working hard to catch this fish and bring it up from the bayou down south, then we want to make sure that we're giving it the correct respect that it deserves. And so what we're doing is we're filleting it out. We're doing a fish stock that we're going to use to make as the base for the stock. We've got these gorgeous shrimp out of Bouillabaisse. We've got this awesome wreck fish, actually, that came up out of the Gulf, and we're going to kind of put together a stew, if you will. So
love it. Now, these were not raised under a bridge in Vietnam.
Nope.
That is a big deal. You want to know where
they
your
are
seafood comes
wild
from.
caught Gulf shrimp. That's all we use in the restaurant. We source it from David Scott over at Destin Connection. We get all of our fish and our seafood from him.
Great.
Got a great relationship with him. Highly suggest checking him out because
he's great and he's local.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we're going to start in this pan that we got heated up right here. A little bit of oil. This is actually a little bit of garlic oil. We like to kind of infuse some oils at the restaurant to kind of get it going. We've got some shallot and some garlic that we're going to start in that pan. Pick that up a little bit.
So we're gonna enhance that garlic in the oil with real garlic.
Exactly.
And when you poured that oil in there, Randy, boy, did it.
So that oil, what it's actually from is we use a lot of roasted garlic, or what we call roasted garlic. It's a confit, which is basically cooking it down in its own fat. In this instance, we're using a nice blended oil, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of canola oil.
Great.
We're putting the whole garlic cloves in the pan, sealing it up, throwing it in the oven, let it go to sleep for a little while, take it out, and you get that really, really rich roasted, which I'm sure you can smell.
Sweet.
We're going to add a little bit of fennel to that as well, some shaved local fennel.
That's interesting.
Get that going. You want to make sure you're seasoning each layer as you go. So get that working in the pan. That's a lot of practice. That doesn't come easy.
Does that smell good?
Yes.
It doesn't come easily.
And I'm right downwind for the smell.
Y'all are winning on this situation.
We love this.
So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our fish to it. Like I said, the wreck fish.
Okay.
And then our nice Gulf shrimp that we got right here.
All right.
Make sure we're seasoning those as well.
Those are beautiful big shrimp.
So shrimp come in different sizes.
I know.
And in a restaurant environment, you're used to seeing them large, jumbo, medium, regular, et cetera, et cetera. In a restaurant environment, we see them as numbers. So these shrimp are 10, 15, and what that implies is they're 10 to 15 shrimp per pound. And with a bigger shrimp like this, it gives you a better opportunity, one, to taste the flavor of it, but it maintains its integrity. You don't overcook it because it takes it a little bit longer to cook through. And so, as you'll notice with like the garlic and the shallots and the fennel, is they're all cut the exact same size. And what that's important is making sure that they all cook at an even time. Same thing with the shrimp and the fish, is we want to make sure that it's cooked down at the same time. So we're just making sure this is getting seared on each side. Traditionally, a bouillabaisse would have saffron and wine in it. to kind of change that up a little bit, since we're using Alabama product and there's a little bit of a homage to me being from Texas, we're going to use one of my favorite beers, Shiner. And I like cooking with alcohol because you've got a lot of flavors that are only alcohol soluble. You got fat soluble, you got water soluble, you got alcohol soluble. So we're going to use just a little bit of beer.
Okay.
Kind of deglaze the pan and get that going.
And basically, anybody that's worried about the alcohol, usually that burns off.
Exactly.
Cooks
So
out.
you're not really
completely and totally cooks
it's
out.
there for flavor.
All you're doing is you're getting that kind of malty flavor, and we're using a beer like Shiner that doesn't have a whole bunch of hops. This day and age with a lot of the craft beers, with your IPAs and your really hoppy kind of bitter beers, this is a little bit on the sweeter side, so you kind of get that flavor.
So you get no alcohol. That all burns off, cooks off. Just so you know.
We're going to do some sweet potatoes that have been roasted, done with a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we've got these gorgeous tomatoes. These are black cherry tomatoes and grape tomatoes that a gentleman out in Auburn does for us. They're hydroponic. They're not quite into season yet, but he does a tremendous job with a hydroponic facility that he's got out there. So he grows it in a water substrate instead of a dirt. So we're going to add that in there as well. And then to kind of bring it all together, we've got this awesome fish stock that we call it's fumet in French. And we're using the bones from the fish after we butcher the fish out, and we're making a stock from that. So it's a complete, like I said, complete kind of rounded utilization of the product. We're going to add a little bit of that stock and let it come up.
That's important.
This morning before I came in, we've got an herb garden out front. And so we trimmed off some basil. So while we're waiting for that to come up, we're going to go ahead and do our little garnish for it. And we're going to do a cut called a chiffonade. And what a chiffonade is really thin strips. The easiest way to do that, easiest way to do that is just to take your basil and just kind of stack it on itself, like so. And we're going to take our nut, roll it up nice and tight, and then we're going to take our knife and very carefully just kind of guide through there. And I know I make it look good. Somebody made a comment about it the other day, and I had to take a second to show them all the scars. All the scars all over my hands to get to this point. So we're going to do that. And as we got this coming up to a simmer, and we're just poaching off all that seafood, you want to be careful not to overcook it. You just want to just kind of bring it together. We're going to taste this real quick, make sure we're good to go. Which we are. A little tiny bit more salt.
Plate it and we'll be done.
Exactly.
Well, Randy, again, you're over in Old Cloverdale, right up from Dirk's Filet and Vine.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're open on Tuesday through
Saturday.
Tuesday through Saturday
Sunday
for dinner,
for brunch.
and then Sunday for brunch.
And Sunday for brunch, and that's strictly happy hour and dinner, not lunch.
Not lunch.
At least not at this point.
Not at this point. We are actually, we're talking about it. We're actually right there next to Kudzu. And we are in the middle of rolling out a new menu and kind of a new idea for that. And we'll probably be open for lunch by the time this airs.
Wonderful. Well, this has been better than Food Network. So happy to have you.
You take reservations?
We do.
Okay,
please,
great.
Please do
take
that.
reservations.
Open table online.
There it is.
The phone number is 334-356-3814.
Okay, and thank you for watching. We'll be right back right after this.